Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you've all had a good start into the new year. Today is already January the 4th, so I think everyone should have arrived in 25 by now. I wish you all the best for 25 and that everything you wish for will come true. Happiness and health, of course. Health especially is the most important thing, I think. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Heiko. I go by the artist name Nogasayan. And as some of you already know, it's Jamuary again. The story behind Jamuary is mainly to dedicate more time to making music and to take the time to make a new jam every day and then upload it to Instagram or YouTube. If you want to participate, be sure to use the hashtags Jamuary and hardware-jams in your captions. And if you want to know more about Jamuary in general, then head over to the Petite Victory Collective's Instagram account. There you will find every information you need. So for this Jamuary, I decided to go with one single machine per week. Like the first week was all about the Digitakt only. I have the OG Digitakt 1 here and I will give you a breakdown of one of my Jamuary jams and explain how I programmed certain things. For that, I've chosen a jam from January 3rd, I think. Yeah, as I think there might be something interesting in there for you. So the jam I'm talking about is this one. Yeah, I started with recording this little, Glockenspiel. Then I recorded every tone of it into the Digitakt by using this guy over here. This is the Roland E4 voice tweaker, I think it's called. And then the same goes for this little guy here. This is a little kid's xylophone. I recorded every tone of it using the Roland E4 into the Digitakt. Then I added a few finger snaps, like this, for some organic goodness. And after that, I started programming a beat with what I just recorded. So I will now take you through every step I did on the Digitakt to program this jam. And for that, we should hop over to the top-down view. So let's get started. So what we're trying to achieve is this one. And here, mainly this one. And this one. That's pretty easy to achieve because I have here the Digitakt 1, the OG one. Then I have the Roland E4 voice tweaker. And I have a little childish or toys, kids' toys. I don't know the English word. In German, it's Glockenspiel. And I just sampled it. So why not sample it again to show you guys how it's made. I have here just a simple microphone, which goes into the Roland E4. And the Roland E4 goes directly into the Digitakt 1. So to sample, we have to hit this knob over here. And if we now hit function and yes, it will start recording. So this is exactly what I did. So now we have it. I then trimmed it down. Starting point, end point like this. Then I hit yes for trim and yes for save, but I will not save it because I saved it before, so I will discard it. And the same I did for this cute thing over here, which is like, a kid's toy. It's a wooden xylophone, or I don't know which is the English word for this, but I think you know what this is. And I did the same function yes for record. Then I trimmed it again, like this, hit yes, save it. I saved it before, so I will not save it again now. Just discard it. Okay, so now we have both loops recorded into the Digitakt. And I put this one, the Glockenspiel, I put it onto slot number 5. And this wooden thing over here, I put into slot number 6. What I did then, I placed some tricks. And inside of the tricks, I programmed the starting points of the sample. The same goes for track number 6, which is this wooden kind of thing. I recorded, or I placed some tricks and then edited the starting points of the sample. You see here, it's a starting point over there, and here's a starting point over there. And so, like this, I created a little melody. But unfortunately, these kids' toys all have major tones, so no minor tones. That means to get a proper melody I wanted, I played with trick conditions. So I hold a step and then go to the tune knob over here. And with trick conditions, I set the tune for this particular step is about 2.8 plus. So that makes it kind of a minor tone. And I did this for 4 bars. And so like this, with a little reverb, I played with a little amp envelope, and I added some sample rate reduction via the LFO. So the LFO is triggering the sample rate reduction just slightly so that it goes up and down a little bit, and that makes a little variation in the tone. And by doing that, we have this. I also added an LFO, which is triggering the delay send, so that you don't have delay send all the time, but some slightly variations in the delay, together with the sample rate reduction. So that's the first one. Then I searched for a bass line, and for this one I wanted to have a simple bass line which just complements the beat or the groove, not too many tones, to leave some space for the glockenspiel and this wooden thing here. And the bass line goes like this. Nothing more than that. Then I added surely a kick drum. I programmed a hi-hat which goes like this. For the hi-hat line, maybe I have 1 or 2 tricks here, because I always program my hi-hat on one slot, well, most of the time. And then you see these flickering lights. These all are trick conditions. And I added an open hi-hat on slot number 7. I then go to the amp envelope and make it short, give it a little attack so that it's not an open hi-hat anymore, but a shaker, some kind of a shaker. I don't have a hard attack on this, as you hear. Then I placed all the triggers here, and then I go into the tricks, hold it down, and then you see the velocity on the tricks is on 50%. This one is on full velocity, and the last one is on 50 again. So that already gives a little variation in the hi-hat pattern. And then I also played with a filter, I think. Yeah, the filter cutoff frequency goes down a little bit for the on-beat hi-hats, and the off-beat hi-hats are open and raw. And what I also do most of the time when I program hi-hats is the hi-hats on the off-beats, so to speak, on 3, 7, 11, and 15 on this sequencer, I place them always a little bit late. So if you can see here on the micro timing, I always program my hi-hats on the offbeat a little bit too late. So that gives you a slightly more grooving hi-hat line overall, because it's not perfectly on time. But in the overall groove, you don't recognize it anymore. It's just this sloppy, groovy hi-hat which goes on. There you can see all the trick conditions. Okay, then I added a clap and the finger snap I recorded. Same for this. I trick conditioned the start of the sample. Also a little bit off in the beat, not perfectly on time. But this is just to create a groove, a more organically sounding groove. So yeah, one thing is missing. This Glockenspiel, but I programmed it the same way. On the amp envelope I make it really short, give it a little bit reverb and delay and some overdrive for some crispiness. And then I placed some tricks over here and placed the sample start to the tricks. And I also played with the tune knob. Not on every trick, I think. But yeah, that's how I did it. And all together, hi-hat and snap. Then this wooden thing. Now I add the clap and the glockenspiel. To make it more driving, one more hi-hat. Yeah. One more thing. For the finger snaps, I just used the microphone, which I used before with the Roland E4, placed it here, and then I go to record, hit function and yes. Recorded some finger snaps, trimmed it, and then placed it on slot number 4. So I think now we have it all. So I think that's it for today's episode. I hope you can get something out of this for your workflow, or maybe you learned something which you didn't know before. Sampling in the Digitakt is just really straightforward. There's not much to it. You just go into the sample menu, hit function and yes, it will record everything which is plugged into the inputs of the Digitakt, and then you can just record anything. You could plug in your phone and record something from YouTube or from Instagram or a voice memo or something from WhatsApp or I don't know, you can record anything. And then you can trim it down, place some tricks, and then say in the tricks where the sample should start. And then you can automate things like the tune or effect settings or play with the micro timing. And with the LFOs in the Digitakt 1, you already have 2 LFOs, which can be routed to a lot of things. Not everything, but a lot of things. So yeah, I hope this might lead you to some new ideas or to try some things out. Yeah, and I think that's it for now. Have a great start into the new year, as I already said in the beginning. And yeah, until next week, take care. Bye.